Hello and welcome to Devotion to Writing, a channel devoted to helping you cultivate a daily writing practice and realize you are creative abundance. So in today's video, I wanted to talk about the subject of writing as healing, or as a way to begin to heal some of the dis-ease within us. And I thought to do this video because a few days ago, I met a young man who has had some difficult events in his past. He was in the military, and during his deployment had some really traumatic events happen. And we were talking about writing as a way perhaps to get in touch with some of those things and to heal some of the trauma that he experienced. And he was reticent about that. And it reminded me that I've received some comments over the past several months of doing these videos, and people asking about writing about traumatic events or painful events in their past, and how to approach that in writing. And again, this conversation the other day with this young man reminded me that this might be an interesting topic for this video, because as it relates to our writing practice, that sometimes, and this young man said this about his own willingness or unwillingness to actually write through this, his pain, is that he was concerned that writing about it would trigger those emotions again, that he would have to relive those events again, and he really didn't think he could handle that. And the second part of why he felt like he couldn't write about the things that has happened is he said, to make art about it or to make a story about it, he felt would in some way belittle or demean not just what had happened, the severity of what happened, but what maybe was a disservice to the other people who lost their lives or who were affected also by this event. And so that's what I want to touch on today a little bit. If in writing you do have that concern that you just can't go there with your writing and touch upon some difficult, painful, traumatic event in your past, that you're afraid that writing may either trigger and bring up those raw emotions that you could not handle, or that it would in some way demean or belittle the event. That's what I want to speak about in this video. So first of all, just as a blanket statement, I don't think that healing can be rushed. I don't think that our grieving process should be rushed, that we should just throw anything at trying to heal. But I do think that there is a place for art, a very important place for art in our own healing. And I'm reminded of how this functions when I was reading the book Creative Mythology, a book by Joseph Campbell, where he talks about what shaman achieve through story and mythology and song, that they begin to heal that through singing the event through them, through making story of the events that they, through story of the disease, of the illness, that the disease disappears. And I do believe this, that there is something in the making. When we take something that has happened and that is real, and we imitate it with art, through art, that it gives us the ability to witness it, to organize it, to make sense of the chaos of it. And in that way, we also feel our own strength in it, our own ability to sit with it, to order it through us, to process it, to live through it, because we just did it, and in the act of making something of it. Again, some things we might not be ready for. They might be too close to us, too recent, too painful. And then we take another approach. But I do think, again, that writing, that making art isn't demeaning of this, of the event or the trauma, but really a way of revering perhaps ourselves in that, our role in it, revering others, revering just life, and that things have happened and we have survived. And so I think there's just an important role that art plays. I know that the poet Gregory Orr, when he was 12 years old, he writes a lot about the healing power of writing. When he was 12 years old, he had a hunting accident in which he shot and killed his younger brother. And as you might imagine, the grief, the guilt of that, having done that, even though by accident, was very difficult for him to live with, and to the point where as a young man, he wanted to take his own life. But he talks about how the power of writing poetry, but it could be writing in general, or making art in general, but that what writing was able to do for him was to make sense of the senselessness. And even, he says, even at that point when he was young, when he was a teenager and a young man, he felt like even religion wasn't able to make him feel better, but that in something concrete like words could start to be a bit of a balm for his wound. And so with your own wounds, with your own dis-eases, how can you gently approach them through writing in a way that doesn't trigger you, but in fact helps you to see that you are available to the things that have happened to you and with you, and that you can, in ordering them through language, make sense of them, but also step into your own power of being the fashioner of your own story, of your own mythology, of your own song about the things that have occurred. And that, doing that, owning your story, owning your myth, owning your song is an honoring, and it is also, as I just said, an ownership of it, and which helps us stand in that power that we are the fashioners, as the fashioner, as the shaman, as the one who has called forth the language to bear it all, to order it, to give it some sense, to make some sense of the chaos. Because sometimes also the traumatic events in our lives can feel just like a really amorphous bundle of energy that is just moving around in us. And then when we start to give it some language, perhaps to color it, to give it texture, to give it some scene, to give it some sense, it takes on a form that then we have an ability to relate to differently than if it is just housed in us and moving all around like a disease that we are housing, that we are holding. We can somehow separate ourselves a little bit from that and begin to heal it by being able to see it and live with it, be with it, sing to it. There is also this sense I came upon today in reading Clarice Lispector, the brilliant Portuguese, Brazilian writer, and she says that she's had to create within her the person who understands her. And I thought that was so beautiful, and such a beautiful sentiment, and our writing is like that, our art is like that. In our writing, we are perhaps able, I think we are able to create something that relates to us, that understands us, that we can speak to authentically and intimately and sincerely, and to pour our heart out in our writing, in our creation. And again, we don't have to show anybody these things. We could just use it as a tool to write and then discard it. No one ever has to see it. No one ever has to read it. But that person, that thing that we create, is really this wonderful intimate channel that we might have to talk about our dis-ease. So as a gentle prompt today, I know this could be heavy, so tread lightly if it is for you. But this prompt today, I just thought about thinking about our writing as a way of healing, or as to facilitate healing. That we might just do this little prompt that is, what is dis-easy in you? Where is there dis-ease in you? And write just a little bit about that, where it comes from, how it appears, and how it disappears. Very gentle. Be very gentle. So again, if you are afraid to write, or if one of the things that might stop you from writing is the fear that that writing might trigger some things in you, trigger some memories or bad events, just know too that writing perhaps is a tool, if you can wield it and own it, that maybe it is a way to start being able to sing to and to heal, to make story of some of the events that may cause you disquiet. It will help you maybe quiet around those and to heal. So I hope that it's useful. We all have difficult things in our lives, painful things in our lives that we are living. And I know I personally have found that writing is a beautiful tool for making sense of it and honoring those things in me and helping me live. So I hope this was useful. I hope you write deeply today. I know that if you do write, you'll write beautifully, because beautiful is what you are. Blessings.